Good afternoon, everybody. I am Babu, an advocate at High Court for the state of Telangana at Hyderabad. I have studied the Constitution intently for about 5 years and wrote 2 books. One in English called Indian Politics versus Indian Constitution, and the other in Telugu titled Bharata Prajalmagu Memu. I got my English version translated into Hindi through one of my friends who lives in Meerut with the title Bharatiya Samvidhan Banam Bharatiya Rajniti. In the process of writing these books, I understood that whatever is happening in India is diametrically opposed to what has been stated in it. And that is the root cause of all the serious illnesses we are facing today, be it political uncertainty, political immorality, conflicts of region, religion, language, sex, etc., utter poverty, cross-border terrorism, and internal extremism. I understood that Indian Constitution was not only the largest written constitution in the world, but it is also the best constitution in the world. Had we followed the Constitution in its letter and spirit, India would have been in a different position today. Maybe we were richer than America, more powerful than any other country in the world, because now it has the largest population, of course the working population in the world, and it has so much of natural resources which no other country has in the world. Yet the only problem with this country is that we have deviated from the royal path of the Constitution. We are seeing our neighboring countries, which are smaller than many of our states, yet they are some of the most developed nations in the world. They do not have any resources whatever India has. I wanted to bring to your notice where and how the Constitution was distorted, with fond hope that the citizens of this country come to know of the problem, because we must recognize the problem first. We have to diagnose the problem first to treat it. Till yesterday, we have completed up to part 4 and 4A, regarding directive principles of state policy and fundamental duties of citizens. Yesterday and the day before, we have also discussed whether a governor is bound to assent to all bills sent by the legislative leader, and whether the president is bound by the aid and advice of his council of ministers. And on that count, I also brought what is stated under Pakistan Constitution and American Constitution too. I am thankful to the listeners who are paying attention to whatever I am saying and subscribing to my channel. Today, I have started the part 5 of the Constitution, which relates to Union of India. Today, I would like to discuss Article 52 and 53, which relates to the President of India. Article 52 says that there shall be a President of India. It means that there must be a President of India. The position of President of India cannot be dispensed with. Tomorrow, the Parliament may like to pass a bill stating that henceforth there shall not be President of India, because the Honorable Supreme Court said that President of India was bound by the advice of the Council of Ministers under Article 74. And President of India is also bound by the bills passed by the Parliament. He is bound to assent to all bills passed by the Parliament. He may return the advice of Council of Ministers or the bill passed by the Parliament for a maximum of one time. If the same advice is tendered by the Council of Ministers for the second time, or if the bill is passed with or without modifications for the second time and sent to the President of India, he is bound to assent to the advice and also to the bills. When he is bound to do that, when he has no discretion, what is the purpose of his being there is the question. We know democracy means there should be separation of powers among the legislative, executive and the judiciary. But I feel the separation of powers is important between legislative and the executive. The judiciary is only a wing of the legislative and the executive. But they cannot claim equal status or even superiority to the Parliament and the President. So I will discuss only separation of powers between legislative and the executive. We know the legislatures represent the President, the Parliament and various assemblies of the states. And the executive is represented by the President of India and the governors. And all the employees under government service, they are called executive in public service. The term of office of the military and civil servants in India shall be during the pleasure of the President under Article 310. Under the same article, the employees working under any state, their terms of office shall be during the pleasure of the governor. Thereby we should understand that all military and civil service staff, starting from a subordinate or ministerial staff to the IAS, IPS and military commanders, they are supposed to serve the nation during the pleasure of the President and the governors. So they are the employees of the President and the governors, not of chief ministers and prime ministers. Even the chief minister, prime minister and their ministerial colleagues are appointed by the President and the governors under Article 75 and 164 to aid and advise them in exercising these functions and to hold office during the pleasure of the President and the governor. As such, the country cannot ignore the role of President of India. and his role cannot even be overstated. Article 53, Clause 1 says that the executive power of Union shall be vested in the President of India, which he may exercise either by himself directly or through officers subordinate to him. Of course, in accordance with the Constitution of India, it means that President of India has executive power. Power does not indicate his obedience to follow the advices of ministers who are subordinate to him. Ministers are appointed by him, removed by him, and they are subordinate to him. They are not elected people. President of India is the only elected executive. In terms of Article 54 and 55, which we will discuss in our next video. When we said that he shall exercise such powers either by himself directly or through officers subordinate to him, do you understand that President of India must act according to aid and advice and not otherwise? That means he does not have any power whatsoever. If we understand the meaning of executive power to be like this, even God cannot save this country. And especially we should understand the persons who are giving aid and advice are his subordinates. He is their superior, not only theirs, he is the head of this country. He is the head of the state. He is the constitutional head, the executive head, and Supreme Commander of Armed Forces. It was only in 1976 through 42nd Constitutional Amendment, Srimati Indira Gandhi brought this amendment to the effect that President of India shall be bound by the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers. When it is brought in 1976, please understand that it was not part of the original constitution up to 1976. Even if it was added through 42nd Amendment of 1976, it is highly deplorable. It is an insult to language. How anybody can say that all powers are yours, but you have to act according to my advice, and my advices are orders for you. It's a most unfortunate that the highest elected executive of India is confined to Rashtrapati Bhavan while his subordinates, who sometimes may not be even elected, are ruling this country. As a result, the country is being ruled by accident, by default, not by design. Now let us come to Clause 2 of Article 53. It says that the President of India shall be the Supreme Commander of Armed Forces, of course, which he shall exercise his function in accordance with special enactment made for that purpose. Please remember, for any special law, military law made for that purpose means, would any law be made without his consent? As such, even in those cases, even in the matters of military operations, President of India has to follow the Constitution and the special law made for the purposes of the armed forces. He is not supposed to be bound by the advices of his subordinates or anybody for that matter. Unfortunately, I found very near similarities between Pakistan Constitution of 1973 and Indian Constitution. Of course, these changes were brought after Pakistan Constitution of 1973 came into existence. It is is shocking for me. Under Pakistan Constitution, under Article 48, the executive power of the Union is vested with the President of Pakistan. But he is bound by the advice of the Council of Ministers consisting of the Prime Minister. Such a condition, as I submitted to you earlier, was not there originally in the Constitution. Under Article 243 of the Pakistan Constitution, Pakistan President is the Supreme Commander of Armed Forces, but he has to exercise that function according to aid and advice of the Prime Minister of. That means, in effect, who is the Supreme Commander of Armed Forces of Pakistan? It is the Prime Minister of Pakistan. So please understand, the President of India is the only elected executive in India. He is executive power of the Union. He is Supreme Commander of Armed Forces, which he shall exercise according to law made for that purpose. And his executive functions, he is authorized to exercise by himself directly. You please remember the word directly, or through officers subordinate to him. Who are officers subordinate to him means every authority in India are subordinate to President of India. Of course, in case of constitutional authorities like Supreme Court and High Court judges, Election Commission of India, Auditor General of India, they are also constitutional powers. They are appointed by the President of India and removed by the combine of the Parliament and the President. This is the power of President of India and responsibilities of the President of India, which unfortunately we misunderstood, and we confined him to Rashtrapati Bhavan, and while the driver is sleeping, the cleaners are driving this heavy vehicle. That is the reason we are seeing all these bumps and accidents during the course of last 75 years. It is time to recognize the powers of the President and entrust to him. Rather, it is the responsibility of the President of India to realize his own powers and duties and to take them into his hands in the interest of the country. Thank you. Thank you for watching my video. We will discuss Articles 54, 55, 56, 57 and 58 in my next video. Thank you. Thank you for watching my video. I request to please subscribe, share and comment on my videos. I will be glad to reply to your worthy comments. Thank you.